The X1 Pro and Pro Max were released in September 2024, and when I reviewed the Pro Max back then, I really liked it, but I mentioned a lot of problems that it had. As a fully autonomous and controller-free follow-me drone, it was, and still is in my opinion, the best on the market. But it had some issues with landing. It was overexposing the shots quite often. The beacon was, well, highly troubled, and flying with the joysticks was fun but left a lot to be desired. We got some updates that improved some things but worsened others, and so I decided to leave the whole thing on a desk for a month or so and just wait and see if some new updates would improve things. And the good news is that as of today, not only have most of the problems that bothered me been fixed, but the last few updates have brought lots of new features and turned the beacon and joysticks into much better and more useful accessories. Starting with the drone itself, one of the improvements I've noticed is that it now calculates the exposure more reliably. Scenes like this where it's shooting into direct low sun used to get blown out, whereas now it handles them much better. The same goes for shots like this in the woods. It would sometimes overexpose and completely blow out the highlights, whereas now it handles it the way it should. In the app, you can now select between face or landscape optimization. On face, it'll set the exposure to prioritize for the user rather than the background. So your face will be well exposed, even if you're in shadow. But if you're standing somewhere with bright sun behind you, like during a sunrise, and you'd rather make sure the sky is better exposed, you can set it to landscape. I actually just keep it on face, and I find that that works well for most scenarios. Another thing I noticed was with sharpness. The software sharpening used to be a bit too high, and it gave a kind of over-processed look with no way to adjust it. I still don't see a way for the user to adjust the sharpness, but it seems to me like they've reduced the sharpness a bit, and for me now it's pretty much perfect. And just in general, the clips I'm getting look a lot better now. The 8K footage is very detailed, but the 4K footage is great too, and close enough to what I get with my favorite action cameras, so I just keep it on 4K for all the follow me stuff, and sometimes I use 8K when I'm flying farther away with the joysticks, because then I can zoom in on something of interest in post without losing much quality. Then there's this beacon joystick thing. I don't know exactly what to call this, the remote I suppose. Well, that's had some pretty big upgrades too. On its own, the beacon now has cycling mode, which I believe makes better use of the beacon for more reliable tracking. Not that it was bad at tracking a bike before, I used it for that all the time with very few issues, but it's supposed to be even better now when that mode is selected. And now we can customize a lot of the flight parameters right on the beacon, which for me was quite exciting. And there's a new setting in cycling mode that lets you tell it whether you're riding in an open area or on narrow roads. And I think this adjusts how tightly or loosely it follows your path. We can also change a lot of settings for the camera right on the beacon too. So yeah, lots of upgrades for the beacon, and now it's gone from having very limited usefulness to being almost a must-have, at least for me. Using the beacon with the joysticks is now a much better experience too. For me, the biggest improvement is that we can increase the speed. When using the joysticks before, the drone used to be stuck in this incredibly slow speed mode. Just turning on the Z-axis took forever, and forward flight couldn't go any faster than a brisk walk. Now we can crank that way up and fly much faster. We also now get on-screen telemetry data so we know how far away the drone is. And a few months ago in my original review I said this: another thing about flying with the joysticks is that we have to touch the display to start and stop recording, but there's a physical button on the right side that isn't being used for anything in that mode, and it would be great if we could use it for the camera. And they actually did it, so thanks a lot for that. It's not perfect yet though. For instance, the range has gone down quite a bit. I used to be able to get about 800 meters, sometimes a kilometer line of sight over an open field, whereas now it loses connection at about 400 or 500 meters over the same field. It does have a return to home feature, but I wouldn't say it's ready for prime time yet. It tends to activate without any kind of warning or announcement. It just quietly starts flying back, and I'm not able to take over the controls while it's in that process, even when it's flown all the way back to me and it's just a few meters away and has full signal. So that whole side of things still needs some refinement. Flying the drone with the beacon and just one joystick like a magic wand works really well now, and this is a great way to position the drone where you want it. It's kind of like having an invisible tripod. You can just move the drone to exactly where you need it and get the shot. There's one thing that I think still needs some work though. One of the interesting features of the beacon is that it can be used as a wireless mic, and it uses AI to filter out the noise of the drone. This is nice in theory, but in practice it's not as easy as it might sound. For one thing, this feature is completely dependent on the smartphone app, which it uses to process the audio and merge it with the video. So I need to let all that happen on my phone and then copy the finished video from my phone to my PC before editing. Also, once I get that file, the audio is out of sync with the video, so I have to adjust that when I'm editing. And in the end, you get a pretty good result and the mic quality is better than I expected, but I found that with the extra steps involved and having to use the app, I prefer to just record my audio with a wireless lav mic and remove the drone sound using an AI tool. It lets me avoid using the app, and the audio quality is better in the end because of the better quality mic and the wind muff. This is an audio test of the HoverAir X1 Pro Max using the beacon as a wireless microphone, and then using the phone app to filter out the sound of the propellers. This is an audio test of the HoverAir X1 Pro Max, but this time I'm using a DJI Mic 2 for the audio, and then processing it using an AI tool in post. Some other positives to note: it tracks really well over snow in follow me mode. I went riding through some snowy woods and it behaved flawlessly for the whole trip. They've mostly fixed or at least improved the issue where sometimes it wouldn't come down and land on my hand. I haven't had that happen yet since installing version 7.6.7. I think that's about it. I know there are some other smaller improvements and additions, but these are just the things that affect how I use the drone, and the recent updates have really improved things for me. The footage is a lot better, mainly because of the more reliable auto exposure, and the beacon and joysticks are a lot more useful now because of all the new features. So that's it for now. I really can't wait for spring so I can use this more. If you found this useful or interesting, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.